Theron, happy to have you at the Open Storage Summit.
Thanks.
Welcome to this conversation. Why don't we start with maybe if you can just introduce yourself and what you do at the company?
Sure. So my name's Theron Conery. I work at a company called Light Edge Solutions today. We're a service provider, data center provider, last mile, WAN and LAN, and we do hosting as well. So we have virtualized hosting, VoIP, hosted exchange, OCS, things like that, and storage plays a big part of that.
Can you talk to us about your thoughts and your opinions on where the industry or the storage industry in particular is going?
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. I come at it more from a virtualization perspective. Most of the big box vendors, most of the legacy systems that are coming out are really driving virtualization internal to their platforms, really showing that software is a really big piece of what they're doing. A lot of the technology that they're pushing out there is really software driven. It's not really hardware driven today. There's certain advances in hardware, but it's those advances are really coming from more of a commoditized level. Everyone sort of gets it at the same time. It's industry wide. It's not just vendor specific. So seeing that software really drives a lot of the innovation that's happening today, it's good to see certain storage vendors that are sort of decoupling the software piece from the hardware piece and really allowing you to build out the infrastructure you need, not sort of cut and dry infrastructure that's prepackaged, and it's, it was referred to earlier in the week as, wrapping tin around your software.
Great. So you talked about decoupling software from hardware and how it's benefiting the end users. So can you maybe give us some more details on how specifically in your environment,
Sure.
the fact that you've gone with a software solution with maybe custom built or configured to your requirements from a hardware standpoint has helped you as a service provider?
Yeah, I mean, so VMware plays a really big part, I think, in a big change in the industry, virtualization in general, but I think VMware's done a lot for how the industry as a whole is sort of rolled out and adjusted. And it was a really big time to demonstrate and show that there is actually value in decoupling, operating systems, application stacks, the system itself from the hardware it runs on, and there's a huge host of benefit that you can get from that. So adding that extra layer in there, separating that out from a virtualized environment perspective, added a ton of value. And so you sort of see that as well in the world of virtualized storage appliances, where you have, even VMware has their own now, but there's, an Exenta works really well in a virtualized storage appliance. You have the ability to drop in your storage and have it migrate around as well. And that ability allows you to really leverage a lot of other things in a virtualized environment, taking entire systems down and offline just to do maintenance, things like that. But if you add in that additional layer of that virtualization, even if it's just the abstraction of taking the software off of the hardware that it's there, or adding in another layer, the HA appliances that you can get with Nexenta with the dual head units, where you can take an entire system offline and not impact your storage or have to take your storage down. Some of the functionality that's built into there allows you to do some really cool things. Familiar with an environment that recently just went from, I think it was 2 revs ago, and pulled their systems offline and did complete in-place upgrades to the latest 3.1.1 code base with no impact and no downtime. So there's huge benefits you can get from just trying to really decouple the software that you're running from the hardware that it sits on. Even if it is, bare metal installs, having the flexibility to do those sorts of things and move data around, I think is important.
Great. And if you were to summarize, Theron, here are the top 3 benefits of Nexenta Store within your organization, what would those 3 be?
That's kind of hard. So I think that some of the top 3 is the most important thing that I think it brings to the table is flexibility. From a cost perspective, it's interesting that you can start very small and burst when you need additional space. You can get space and gear it up very quickly, and it's commodity parts. So I'm not going to Nexenta to buy hardware. I'm calling up somebody else and getting a vendor in and finding what exactly I need. I think that's key. I think some of the caching stuff is pretty amazing. Getting that in place, you may not actually need more storage. I think one of the key things that we see, one of the things that's visible across industry wide is people aren't running out of space anymore. People are running out of I/O. I mean, there's plenty of disk capacity in most organizations today. What they need, they're buying is additional I/O, and being able to add additional RAM or add additional SSDs as needed for hotspots to directly. I hate to say, but it's using a scalpel rather than a sledgehammer to fix a problem. You can go in and actually fix a problem that exists rather than buying a widget and slamming another widget into your environment.
Great, Theron. It was a pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.